Welcome to the Dr. Ginny Show, where our mission is to help transform the lives of 1 million underestimated women and leaders looking to claim their seat at the table and create a fulfilling career and life. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the show. Hello, my friends. Dr. Ginny here. Welcome to this episode of the Dr. Ginny Show. I was inspired by a conversation I had today with one of our community members in financial services, introduced to me through our LinkedIn network. So I was able to connect with him today, and I want to share with you some of the concepts that he and I shared because they were inspiring to me, and I believe they will be inspiring to you. One of the phrases he uses is, you have to disrupt yourself. And I want to bring this topic of disrupting yourself to you today. As a company and as an individual within companies, as a senior leader, as someone who wants to advance in your career, grow, and also help your company do the same, what does disrupting yourself look like? And if you were to ask me, I would say that I've disrupted myself throughout my entire career, constantly looking for where I could add the most value and how I could grow myself. Grow in the knowledge that I was bringing to my partners, how I could collaborate with people across the organization, and grow in my knowledge and skill sets so I could be of the most use in the roles that I was playing. Growing to me and disrupting myself also meant getting to know the business on a level that not many people knew. And this is what I mean. When we are doing a function within our companies, we tend to focus only on our jobs. However, one of the things that always fascinated me and that I was always very curious about was, what do other people do? What do others around me do? Because I knew they were smart. I wanted to understand what they did in their jobs. And so one of the strategies that I used to disrupt myself, if we're going to continue using the term, was to reach out to colleagues of mine in different areas of the business to understand what they did and how they did it. So when you look at financial services, I got exposed to what was happening in the front office by, first of all, watching what was happening. And I had colleagues in technology that supported the front office, so asking questions when I had a specific one, and also paying attention to see how the dynamics worked. So I noticed we had portfolio managers, we had analysts, we had salespeople who were promoting the products and the mutual funds that my company was managing. So I was paying attention to how the work happened, what were the processes that they used, what were the tools and systems that they leveraged. Those were obvious things because I happened to be in the technology department. And by asking questions of my colleagues in technology who supported the front office, I learned so much about the front office process. Then I got familiar with the back end of things, the operations of things, the reconciliation process, the custodial process, all of the things happening in the background, the pricing, the striking the NAV, the NAV, all of the things that supported the front office so they could do what they do so well, or what they did so brilliantly. So by getting familiar with just reaching out to my colleagues in operations who I happen to support, I also became familiar with the back office process and how all of that worked. Then you talk about the other aspects of the business, finance, legal, compliance, and I also became familiarized with how those processes worked. The advantage I have and that it gave me was that I had a bird's eye view of our business and how we ran the company. I also got exposed to sales and marketing. I was with sales and marketing for over 3 years. And in that process, I learned what they were doing in sales and in the marketing world, and what were the pain points and what were the systems they were using and where do they need support? What were the gaps that they had? By getting exposed to the institutional department when I supported them and understanding the institutional business to the best of my ability, and seeing how everyone else, human resources, finance, how the different teams collaborated, I had such a wide perspective on how the business worked, where we had pain points, where we had gaps within my role in technology, financial services, and later in sales and marketing, specifically under product data. This is how I kept disrupting myself year over year. So even though I stayed in my company for over 16 years, during that time, I had so much exposure that enabled my ability to grow personally, professionally, and to understand the business we were in. In addition, when I met with my mentors and my sponsors, who were the senior leaders at the company, I was able to ask them questions about, where do you see us going? What are the biggest challenges we're running into? And what is your vision for the future? And when I had those conversations, trust me, there were some wide eyes going, why is she asking me this question? It's because of my curiosity and my interest in seeing the bigger picture always. These are only a few examples of how you can disrupt yourself as a senior leader, as an individual contributor, as a head of a department. In addition to that, I kept learning outside of my office. I also kept involved in industry events. Some of you know already from knowing about me, I was able to work full-time during the day and attend graduate schools at night. So I was getting exposed to business terms through my MBA. I was exposed to more about my world of technology by getting my master's in computer science and ultimately my PhD in information systems. Even though I didn't apply those specifically in my work, and they would lead me to an academic profession later on if I chose to go in that route, it expanded the possibilities and my ability to solve problems from where I stood. And so for you, my friends, when you think about how you're disrupting yourself today, what is the gap that you currently see? And how can you fill that gap from where you are standing from your perspective? The truth is that leaders are those who are able to notice the gaps and then come up with creative ideas to fill those gaps. I currently see a gap in the industry, in financial services, and the person who inspired me to talk about this disruptive approach is on the same page as it relates to there being a gap. There's a gap where women could be playing a more prevalent and prominent role in financial services. And I believe that when we look at this as a gap in tapping valuable resources that are available, that more of us would be willing to have these types of conversations and address and start to discuss how we can bridge these gaps. And I'm glad that I'm not alone, and I know I'm not, especially those of you who are listening most likely agree that there's an opportunity here and an opportunity cost that we are not leveraging to the fullest potential. What are we going to do as we start a new year to help our environments become more aware? Not only that, hey, this is the status quo, what are we going to do about it? But let's be more proactive than that and begin to come up with solutions we can begin to implement this coming year. What can we do to expand this opportunity that's sitting on the table by bringing in more women into, let's say, being financial advisors? According to my source, only 20% of financial advisors are female. There's a great opportunity there. And you may say, Ginny, if it's not broken, why are we trying to fix something? Well, we disagree. We believe that it is broken and we continue to look the other way. What are we going to do to stop looking the other way and face this head on? If this is a conversation you would like to entertain and explore further to see what is possible, what are your pain points, what is it costing you to remain in the status quo, What are the possibilities and what can it look like in the future? And then start to create a plan of action that would move us toward that outcome. Please, let's connect. You can always find me at info@executivebound.com. You can visit my website at drginnybaro.com, and we can connect to explore what that would look like. It would be my pleasure and my honor to support you and be your journey partner and thought partner in this process. Live with purpose, live with joy, and thank you for joining us today. We will see you soon. If you enjoyed today's content, I appreciate your review so others can find us, and share it with your friends. And to stay in touch, join our community to receive valuable strategies and expert advice at drginnybaro.com. See you soon.